Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lisa. Just call me Lisa. Um, I would like to start on your background. Could you tell me a bit about your current job title or role in the construction industry?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. So, my name is Muhammad Rahman Imran. But you guys can hear me or no? Oh, I'm muted. No? Okay, you
Yeah,
can hear? Okay.
yeah, can hear you.
So, I'm working right now with Samsung Construction joint venture with UEM. So, the current role would be the site engineer right now. So it has been about 2 years
Mhm.
since October. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yep.
So, what types of construction projects that you've primarily worked on
So
so
basically,
far?
right now, currently we're working on the Merdeka 118. So it's actually a commercial building, but then it
Mhm.
consists of a few packages, which consists of the tower. Then we have the mall. We have also the mosque, and also others. But then mainly for our company, we are focusing on the main contract, which would be the tower lah, and also the podium. Yep.
Mm, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the size of the project that you typically manage, especially for Merdeka 118 Tower?
Okay, so actually, if you guys, I think you guys learn as well. We have a few categories of projects, right, from G1 to G6. So I think for Merdeka Huawei is considered as G6, which it accumulate to around 5 billion for the
Oh, in
project
terms of,
cost. Yep. Yep.
I see. Quite a big project then.
Yeah. I think this is the next mega project after TRX. I think. Yep.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
Um, could you tell me what's your highest level of education or professional qualification that you've completed
So
before?
actually, I'm also same as you guys. I'm a graduate of UITM. So I
Mhm.
think it will be the highest level will be the bachelor, same as you guys, bachelor degree in structure. And as of now, I haven't taken any business yet, but because some of them they have their own requirements. For example, on the years of experience that you have to make, and also others. So this is in the plan as well.
I see.
Yep.
Have you taken any certs with relation to quality management or ISO or Six Sigma?
So for quality management, no,
Um,
but just a bit of others lah, but not
mm,
regarding to quality lah.
okay. Uh, could you tell me on what type of organization that you currently work for? Is it like a consultant or JLC or as a client representative?
So for the Merdeka 118 project, so I represent the main contractor, which is Samsung.
Mhm.
And also UEM. So for the chart, we have our client, which is PNB. Then we
Mhm.
also have PMB also hired their own project PMP, which is Turner International. Then we have a few consultants in play. For example, for structures and infraworks, it will be under Arup Consultant. Then for
Mhm.
architecture, we have for the design will be under FKA, but then for the implementation and also regarding local authorities will be under RSP.
Mhm.
For MNE will be under KTA.
Mhm.
Then we have also For signages will be under adapters. Yeah, we have also other consultant, but then it's not related to our package lah, or our project. Yep. We have quite a few. So for the tunnels will be under Minco. Then we
Mm-hmm.
have uh then for mall side they have their own consultants, so it's different by package. Yeah, but then there are also depends on who is awarded during the tender, but then it depends. Yeah.
So I see. On that note, um, you're saying that you're the main contractor, right?
Yeah,
So can you tell me how many subcons you have under you, and if how many members do you have in your team members also as a main con?
I think if you want to mention I from the start, I think
Mm-hmm.
too much. But then for now in the finishing
Mm-hmm.
stage or architecture stage, we and
Mm-hmm.
we have around 50.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of
around
people.
50. Yep. So it consists of a lot of different type of works and
Mm-hmm.
also different finishes. So around that lah, around 50. This
Mm-hmm.
one for finishing lah. Then you have because for our project for the MNEs, the subcontractors are awarded by the client, so it's under the category of NSC nominated subcontractors. So this one also we have a few for
Mm-hmm.
the fire system, for the electrical supply,
Mm-hmm.
for security, building management, so all different subcontractors. I think total from the beginning could be around close to 100. I think. I just guessing. Probably close lah, 80 years. Yeah.
Okay. My last question.
Mm.
How frequently are you involved in terms of quality management in your current role?
I think as a site engineer, when you're focusing on completing any progress or progressing any works, I think quality also comes first because uh, it is because we have the standards that has been set. So we have to try to meet these standards, and I think it doesn't matter what role you are. I think quality is always what will be highlighted always. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's all for me. I'll pass it off to my other members of the group. Thank you.
All right.
Assalamualaikum. My name Nur Ain Fatihah. I will ask about the challenges in maintaining the application of quality standard in construction project. My first question is about what are the most common challenges you encounter in maintaining quality standard throughout a construction project?
I think in in maintaining quality is always a challenge in any project because when especially in a mega project where it involves like we have during peak hours we have close to 2000 workers inside every single day. So to maintain quality standard, usually for when you guys working in the project, you will have your own QA/QC department, right? So they actually will generate firstly a method statement on how you conduct any kind of work, a method statement. Then you will have the ITP, which is the inspection test plan. So in this ITP actually it's actually a guide or what will be checked by the consultants during an inspection. So if you can try to be as close to what is being accepted in the ITP, so I think that's the only way for you to maintain. But then this does not actually help you 100% because usually in this mega project you will face a lot of your own finishing being damaged by other subcontractors. So this one I think the best way would be to discuss with the team on how to prevent. Firstly, you have usually in the contract, these subcons will be uh, or I would say they will need to do their own protection to their own material. So I think this is one of the other ways to maintain not just the quality, but then also the overall finishing until you can hand over the area.
Okay. For the next question, can you provide example of how tight schedule or accelerated timelines have influenced the decision-making process and what trade-off, if any, we made regarding quality? And how do you balance speed and quality in this situation?
I think about these questions, I think back to the if you guys look at the quality triangle, it involves three things: quality, time, and cost. Okay, so if you prioritize time, then you will have a higher cost and lower quality. Okay, but then if you put actually higher cost, then you can actually get higher quality, but also you will have to jeopardize your time because you I think logically in this world is that good things need time. So but then I think some of the things is that the environment of working can actually help. For example, I'll give you an example. You want to rush plastering work, okay? Because this plastering work will I think the most basic way to detect whether it's a good plaster or skim work is when you shone any lighting towards a wall, you can see whether it's wavy or not. So I think during the work itself, leveling is important, and also for me as a main contractor to provide a very conducive working environment. For example, I have to provide lighting to them, electricity. So and also you have to monitor as well, monitor your subcon. So I think this close encounter can actually help to improve quality. But then um it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean that if you put more cost, for example, you want to finish like a 6 meter wall, probably with one worker you can finish in 1 week. But then if you put more cost to hire three workers, you can finish faster. But then if these workers are not skilled workers, then you will just obtain the same thing whether it's one workers or not. But then if these people are skilled workers and it's being proven that they can do the job, so I think that is the most important way. So I think for me as a main contractor to actually discuss with the subcon and to identify if these workers can actually produce a good quality of work or not. Yep.
Okay. The third question is about how do fluctuation in resource availability, such as a shortage of skilled worker or delay in material supply, impact your ability to maintain high quality standard? What measures are taken to mitigate these challenges?
I think regarding this question, because for example, me as a main contractor, we don't actually hire or I mean direct hiring laborers to do the work because we have our own subcon. But then if I'm answering from as a subcon point of view is that um I what fluctuation. Okay, right now I think due to fluctuations, it's actually hard to get a good worker nowadays. I mean, a good skill workers. Mostly there is, but then probably the salary will be quite high. So then I think um, it depends whether you can take a normal worker and you train them so that it will be you can cost less. But then if you want straight away, then you will have to find good workers. But then to answer your question, um yes, shortage of skilled workers will actually impact your progress or your work as a subcon, because this you can finish the job, but then you will have to come back to do the rectification because of the quality.
Okay. And the last question from I is, can you provide specific example of situation where communication breakdowns or misunderstanding between project stakeholder, contractor, subcontractor, supplier, resulting in quality lapse? And how we this issue identified and what action we taken to resolve them?
Mm, if we're talking about communication regarding quality. Okay, usually for example, in the Merdeka 118 project is that before you do anything, you will have to submit your material. So we will call it as a material submittal. So for example, you want to install a window, for example. No, I okay. I mean, let me give you a simple, much more simpler thing. Uh, Tiles, for example, you want to install tiles, okay, on the wall for a toilet. So before you actually do your work, you have to submit first method statement, then you have to submit your material. So when you submit this material, this will be reviewed by the consultants. Then they will actually comment whether it is accepted or is not accepted, whether they want to change to another. Depends on what they want actually. So when your material is being approved, then you can start fabricating or ordering your materials. So then when this material came to site, then usually some, not all, but then some of the materials, we will have to conduct material inspection. So where we inspect the materials arrive on site before installing. So I think with this process, you can actually make sure that all from the very beginning until post installation, that the quality can be maintained. Yeah.
Okay, that's all from my question. I pass my friend.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ilya Natasha binti Zaidi, and I will ask regarding the effectiveness of current quality management strategies. So for the first question, what quality management practice or system that currently in place within your project, and how effective are these practice in maintain the project quality? Can you share any specific example?
I think the question a bit similar to what I explained, is that we have this process on the material itself until the installation. So another thing that I can share is that, for example, you as a site engineer or coordinator, it doesn't matter what the role is, but then if you see something installed on site is not as per the drawing, or for example not as per approved material, for example the tile should be black but they are installing like grayish. So actually we can actually issue an NCR. So NCR is it stands for non-conformance report. So this is to actually um, highlight, or I mean, it's like a report letter to the any party that didn't follow what is being approved. So they will, for example, this usually they will issue an SOR first. So I forgot what SOR means, but then this SOR is like a notification to you that you're doing the wrong thing. So you actually have to reply. I think in a few days. I'm 7 days. I think I don't remember. But then if there's no action from the contractor, then the consultant can issue an NCR. So this NCR, it has to be resolved in 14 days. So what does this NCR can actually affect to the uh, main contractor or or some contractor itself, that with the NCR you can actually hold their payment by percentage. So it depends on how severe or how big the problem is. So the consultant can issue an NCR to the main contractors. The main contractors also can issue an internal NCR to the subcontractors. So for example, if the consultant issue an NCR to the main con, so they will hold the main con claim. But then if the main con issue an internal NCR to the subcon, so the main con will hold the claim to the subcons. So it works that way. So with this makes other parties be more responsible for their work actually. Yep.
Okay, so for the second question, how do you monitor and measure quality performance throughout the project? And what indicators do you use? And how they help in identifying quality issues?
So to monitor and also measure quality performance, I think it depends on what item it is. For example, for tiles, we will always check with a tapping rod. Then we'll have to use lasers to check the alignment, and also always refer to the drawing. But then there are also other items that have different types of way to inspect them. Depends on, for example, if you're installing natural stones, the requirement is that you have to stand 2 meters away to actually comment based on tonality or any other things. But also actually us as a main contractor, the client also appointed a third party like QLASIC, so they actually have to inspect our work, but not they didn't inspect like every single thing. They will do like a random check, then they will come up with a classic report. So if I forgot what the minimum percentage is, but then the closer you are to 100% is, so that defines your quality lah. Yeah. Indicator or tools, it depends. There's so many different types of way to inspect because it depends on the item itself. Yeah, but then I think mostly finishing, it's more to, if during the work, then you have different types of inspecting. But then when you finish everything, it's more to visual. Yeah. I think you muted.
Okay, so for the last question, what corrective action are typically taken when quality issues arise? Can you give some example of how problems were fixed and how you prevent them from happening again?
Okay, on the corrective actions is what I mentioned. Usually, the consultants, for example, it doesn't matter if the subcons or the main cons didn't detect where the wrong is. So the consultant actually will issue out an SOR or an NCR. So these are normally the actions taken by the consultant if we don't follow the drawing, or also regarding drawing material. uh, these two will result in an in a NCR. So when we receive this, we have to actually in the NCR report itself. When you actually rectify what your wrong is, you have to fill in the lesson learned. So what is the corrective measure, and also what's the action could be taken to prevent this in the future. So this somehow actually educate and make other parties be more responsible of their work lah. So for an example is that for example, but then this example, it depends on the consultant as well, because some things that, for example, wall become wavy, right? But then sometimes the consultant, when there's no like direct light on it, and some things, some defects can only be found when you're trying to search for it. But then for example, if you're acting as a normal people, when you enter a room or a place, and you're just not trying to find any defects, then I think sometimes these things can be forgiven by the consultants. But then, for example, if you have a misalignment tile, it's supposed to be straight, but then it's a bit crooked, then the only way is to open and install a new one. But then this is also depends on the discussion and also acceptance of the consultant itself. Yeah, I think this kind of things you will learn along the way when you started working later. Yeah.
So that's all from me. Thank you, sir, for your answer. I will
Alright.
pass to my friend Nur Iwan Atira.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Iwana Atira binti Ahmad Jambari. So I have 3 questions regarding proper solutions to overcome the challenges in maintaining quality standards throughout the construction project lifecycle. My first question is, in your experience, what improvements could be made to the current quality management processes to overcome the challenges as mentioned earlier?
Current quality management process. I think, for example, as a main con, okay, when you're trying to appoint or open a tender for example, wet works. So wet work is actually masonry works where you tie block walls, brick walls. Okay, this is called wet works. That's skim plastering. So when you open the tender, you're trying to find a subcon. They will actually usually they will provide you with the company portfolio profile and previous project that they do. So from this, you can actually first screen through and to look at, okay, how well do they manage their company. Then from there, okay, previous project, then probably you can ask other projects that they are working as a probably some opinion. I think issues like this have to be tackled from the very beginning, because uh, we understand that as main contractors, when you appoint subcons, that usually they will go for the cheapest, usually, right? As a client also, you're trying to get the most cheapest or at least suit your budget. But then from the three factors that I told you: quality, cost, and time. So for this, if you're willing to spend more for a more experienced, also a better contractor, then I think you will be more puas hati with the works. So, it's the same as you like trying to renovate your house or anything. You can pay like an Indonesian worker for 30 ringgit a day, but then if you want to compare from another worker that is demanding 90 ringgit per day, but then you know that the quality of work is there. So it depends on what the budget is. But then, for example, you cannot afford a much more expensive price, then probably you have to actually monitor a bit detail on this, so that you can actually make sure that they fulfill the standards.
All right. And then what strategies do you believe could better address the quality issues caused by communications breakdowns, resource limitations, or time constraints? And how would these strategies help improve overall quality management?
Usually, if you're talking about communication breakdowns for quality, it's always come back to probably you do a meeting with the subcon every week, at least once a week, to discuss, okay, what's the wrongs, okay, how the progress is, and how to tackle any issue. So from that meeting every single week, you can actually be very close monitoring on their works, right? Then regarding resource limitations, I think this is a bit uh, a bit tricky. Is that if you do resource could be a lot of things, whether manpower, materials, and also logistic wise, it could be a lot of things. But then if we're talking about workers, uh, when you have limitation on workers, then it will definitely delay the progress. If you have a limitation on the budget, then it also will actually make you be a bit behind on what you actually plan. But then, for I think as for example, as a manager or a project manager, or the one who calculate this risk, is that you will always need to have like a contingency plan. It doesn't mean that, okay, for example, you have 5 million, then you plan your work to be 5 million. What happen if there's any inflations or anything that require more in terms of cost? Then you will be a bit suffocating, right? So you need to always plan, uh, or you have a bit of spare in terms of cost. I think that's from my point of view. Time constraint, for time constraint in any project, you have to complete in between the project duration. But then usually you can request any EOT, but then it also depends on what the cost is for the consultant to actually approve the EOT, whether it's a VO or anything. So but then for the strategies to address quality issue, I think the most basic way for any government is that probably do a workshop, probably QLASIC or CIDB. They can do a workshop regarding their work on how to maintain, and also do like site visits, things like that. But then from a main contractor point of view, it there's I don't think there's any other way just to make sure that everything is as per the method statement. Yep.
I think that's very good strategies. For our last question for this interview, in your view, what innovations or best practices from other industries could be adapted to improve quality management in constructions, and how could this be implemented throughout the construction project stages?
Innovation of best practices. Actually, for a mega project, it's actually very difficult to maintain the quality because you're dealing with a lot of things, right? But if what I can say is that the more the closer you are to monitoring this kind of works to make sure everything is as per what you want, then I think that is the best practice, because it doesn't matter on how you try to explain to people on how to do things. It always depends on when they do it during that time. So if for example you're working for your company to do tile installation, so if you can actually be there to monitor, or for example you have your worker, then you can train them, okay, to make sure, okay, this has to be like this, the alignment have to check by the laser, and how to use every single thing, because the more skilled these workers are, then I think it reduce the risk of not being a quality product. I think, yep. I think that's the. I think I don't think there's an innovation. Okay, innovation could be could be tools. Tools could be, for example, you trying to sending a wall, right, to before painting. So right now they have like a sender machine. So these things can actually improve the overall quality as well. So in terms of tools, there's a lot. Depends on what work there is, right? But based on site, and also just in real life practice, is that we as an engineer, you have just to make sure. I mean, first you have to study how to do it, and what is the final product. Then during the work process, you can actually see whether they are doing the right thing or not. That's answering from an engineer point of view, because tools, not everyone, all company can afford these innovative tools, right? Yeah, I think the most companies, they save by doing the traditional method. Yeah, conventional. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so that